Hey Chuy, welcome to episode 2 of Under the Microscope. For the viewers, can you tell us what your show is about and the name of your show?
Yeah. The show is called The Amalgamation, and it's sort of, the name fits because it's basically just a bunch of different stuff which fits under this umbrella of what I consider to be like party or dance music. So a lot of like electronic stuff, but a lot of different things as well.
What made you interested in being a DJ for KRUI?
That all stems from my interest in music. I'm gonna start off. It's sort of just an extension of that. And so, since I can remember, I've always been into music and into like sharing music with people, and I think that's a huge part of why when I finally saw like a flyer, like being a KRUI DJ, I thought it'd be really cool to do that and extend that sort of like feeling of wanting to share music with people and get that.
Why do you think viewers should tune into your show?
I think what kind of sets my show apart is like I'm really trying to make it into, in the easiest term, like a movement. I want people to tune in. So I requested Saturday nights, sort of like, for lack of a better term, for like a pregame time. I want people to go and like listen to the thing and request songs and tune in every week so that they can really feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. So it's not just like, oh, the radio's on, or since it's the lab, it's like you have to go, and it's like it's a little bit more of a push for us, like on the marketing team, for you guys on the marketing team, and me as a DJ, try to get people to listen on the computers. But once they do, I really think that they can, be a part of something bigger than themselves. So I think it'd be a good time for them.
Cool. What would you say is your first concert that you've been to?
Oh.
And what would you say is the best concert that you've been to?
The first concert, that's kind of like a tricky question for me because like growing up, I grew up in West Liberty, which is like 20 miles away, and West Liberty has a huge like Mexican population. I'm Mexican, so the first concert I can really remember is hazy, but it had to be when I was like an infant because we'd have like Mexican dances in West Liberty, and so we'd have bands and we'd have concerts come, like bands from Chicago, like Tejano bands, like Mexican bands come. So like we'd always go and people would be dancing, and like I'd be like a little kid just like bouncing around to that. So in terms of like the first concert, it had to be one of those. In terms of my favorite concerts, there's a couple different ones. Just like Sharon Jones of the Dap Kings, which Sharon Jones is like sort of like this. I'd say she started this whole like retro, like 60s soul type of thing, and she came to the Engler a couple years back, and they were amazing. And Big Boy, when he was here a couple months back, like that was an awesome concert. I really liked that concert because it was more of like an Outkast concert with like Big Boy songs to like punctuate things. So I thought it was really awesome.
What would you state that's like the best decade for music?
See, that one's tough for me. I actually just read an article about how people sort of get like rose-tinted glasses about the music from the past because we cherry pick songs or like the artists that are really good. And so you always be like, oh, the music in the past decades was better than the ones now. But if I were to really pinpoint it, I think like the 60s, 70s had like lots of really good stuff that we can look back to, and like it's all in cycles. But I really don't think there's like one decade that can be considered like the best, because I think there's always good music. It's just about finding it and like being in tune to that.
What would you do you have an iPod?
Yeah.
What would be your most, what would you say like is your most guilty song on your iPod that you'd probably be embarrassed to mention that's on your iPod?
The guilty pleasure. I wouldn't see. As a DJ, because I'm here as the KRUI thing, but I also am like a DJ, like a turntable DJ as well. So I always, there's always like the concept of like catering to like the mainstream versus like staying true to yourself. So I always am struggling with the idea of trying to find good music that will cater to other people, like other people who have my taste in music too. But in terms of guilty pleasures, I think the biggest thing for me would be like some of the R&B I have that could be considered like sort of cheesy. I really like Sade, which some people would say is like embarrassing, or some people say it's cheesy, but I love Sade. So it's hard for me. It's not really embarrassing, but for other people, they might be like, what is that? But whatever. I like what I like.
What's like one of the craziest behind the scenes experiences as a DJ you've had before?
I haven't been here that I've been DJing here for a couple months, so fortunately I haven't had like too many crazy experiences. I mean, I think the most like quote unquote craziest thing I could think of would be like myself being paranoid that nobody can hear me, because I'm like, you're in the lab by yourself and like, is this working? Is there like, I wonder, you know, so I'll call up friends and be like see if they can actually like listen to the stream online. So fortunately there's no like real like crazy things. It's been smooth sailing so far. So
any last words before?
I mean, basically just listen. I mean, we here at the lab are I think we're trying to like fight an uphill battle with being online only. You know, like I tell people like, oh, listen to my radio show, and they'll be like, I tuned in 89.7. I'm like, no, it's only online. It's the lab. It's different. So it's really cool that that you guys are doing this like video thing too, try to get us out there. So really just like support people out there, support your local musicians, local DJs, support KRUI in the lab.
Well, thanks for coming into episode 2 of the lab.
Okay.